Hello, 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 hello? Hello. Okay, guys, I'm back. I had to go for a second to eat dinner, obviously. I know I could have eaten dinner on stream, but, I'm trying to be respectful. I don't know. But also, there wasn't much going on the time I left. Now there is stuff going on, and I probably should have stayed on because this is only like an hour later, but, I feel like it's good to have a break once in a while. But otherwise, that's besides the point. Currently, we do have 3 tornado warnings active, and we're currently going to go over them. We still have some severe weather in the Wisconsin area. We also do have a tornado watch now in effect for Colorado and Wyoming, and also parts of Nebraska, and some of these tornado warnings in Colorado. So anyways, let's go to the radar just to see what's going on, what has changed, what has remained the same, what has generally been the case for the last few hours, and what will become the case for the next few hours, of course. So, here we are. Oh, let me just change this. So, we have these 2 tornado warnings in Colorado currently, both near Fort Morgan along the I-76 corridor between Fort Morgan and Sterling. We also do have another tornado warning over here near Oshkosh in Wisconsin. This did look better earlier. It's not looking so good right now, but it might recycle, so we still got to continue watching it. We still also have storms in southern Wisconsin, too, but they're not looking as conducive for tornadic development. We also do have a storm approaching near Green Bay, which might have some... It doesn't actually have strong winds towards it. It mostly is a hail threat. I thought it would have a stronger wind threat, but it doesn't quite. So we still have a tornado risk in this region, where 2% is in effect. We're continuing to watch all these storms as they continue to persist. We also do have a risk down here in Oklahoma, which is beginning to develop. There's a small tornado risk with these storms, however, they're not really showcasing any signs of rotation. The main risks are going to be up here and up here. So we're not really expecting much in Oklahoma, but we're still expecting some risk in Oklahoma to eventually develop. We'll see how it develops later on. But otherwise, that's what we're currently looking at. We currently have a tornado watch in effect for the Fort Collins, Cheyenne, just east of Denver, Fort Morgan area. It extends like this, and you, of course, have it go all the way to the Kansas border, and then towards western Nebraska. We also do have that severe thunderstorm watch that is still in effect for Wisconsin and parts of Illinois, right over here. It might be extended further to the south. It was recently extended further to the east, but I am noticing some storms south of the severe thunderstorm watch that might get severe warned eventually, especially this one that is developed north of St. Louis. This has a bit of hail in it. I'm not really seeing the tornado threat with it, but it does have a bit of hail in it, so I would expect that to eventually gain a warning, and then eventually a severe thunderstorm watch extended down to it, most likely. So that's what we're currently seeing in that region. And yeah, we just have a bunch to talk about, and we'll be staying on here as long as we need to, especially with these tornado warnings active. So this storm did look better earlier near Marino. It isn't looking as good anymore, mostly because let me change this because it's no longer 1 tornado warning active. It's 3 tornado warnings are active. Once again, I'm trying to eventually get to the point where I don't have to change this manually, but I'm not there yet, so there you go. So 3 tornado warnings are currently active. You can see this had much better rotation when it was to the west of Marino. I wouldn't be surprised if it produced a brief tornado as it was moving southeast. However, now it's looking much more disorganized, so I'm not really sure if it's producing any tornado now. It's still radar indicated, though. It was always radar indicated, so just to note that you still got to be in your safe spot to live in this area. It isn't as populated as an area as Wisconsin and those areas. However, it still has some people in it, especially in Marino, so I would still be in your safe spot if you live in these tornado warnings. Also, you do notice a little bit of a hook developing south of Fort Morgan. It's not anything insane, and also it looks a bit outflow dominant, especially with the hook traveling backwards like this. So I would say this is not imminent to producing a tornado, but we still have the tornado warning on it just in case. And of course, we do have this storm in Oshkosh, Wisconsin that's also trying to develop near Berlin. This doesn't have much rotation on it anymore. However, it could redevelop it at any moment. So let's get some cameras over here. We'll look at the Wisconsin cameras. We still have that camera up from last time. But over here, not there. Let me change the scene. Near Oshkosh, we do have a lot of cameras, so it has to be looking west, I would say. Southwest. It's more closer to Fond du Lac, actually. Let me see this. Is any of these looking west? Maybe northwest? That's north. Southwest. This isn't loading. I mean, I think it loaded at that moment, but... Southwest. Maybe this... Okay. Northeast. Northeast. I don't know what direction this is in. Still looking for cameras, folks. Just give me a second. North. East. Maybe this will work. This heads west, but you can't really see much. Yeah, you can't really find much near Oshkosh. I mean, I bet it exists, but it's not really pointing in a direction that we want it to. Except for maybe this camera. Let me see it again. We don't know the direction. But assuming this is the right direction, we can't see anything anyway, so... We'll take it away from the cameras that... We do have Colorado cameras active, actually, so let's look at those. Because we might be able to see some... I think these might be picture cameras, but I'm unsure. These might be just, like, frames every few minutes. But we'll see. We do have some cameras near Fort Moore. Oh, these aren't! These actually are real videos. So, or at least some of them are. If this ever loads. I mean, you can see a storm here, but this is heading more east, I think. So, let me just see... Oh, wow, there's a bunch of hail in this region right now, it seems. Because you can see it kind of being overfilled with hail right now. Yeah, very foggy environment. It's mostly due to the hail. A bunch of hail's falling down in this region, so that's generally what we're seeing. Even though there's not really much hail in this region anymore. So I guess it's still foggy after the storm. It'll eventually clear up a little bit. But we can't really see much because I think this is heading south, actually. So we would be able to see the tornado through the rain, potentially, if it has a clearer base. So that's what we're generally looking at in Colorado, where Tornado Watch is active. We do also have a severe thunderstorm warning north of Wheatland. I'm not seeing much with this storm, but it did develop a few hours ago. And it has a nice bit of hail in it. It's around an inch in diameter and around 60-mile-per-hour winds. So that's about what we're seeing there. Looking back at our Wisconsin storm, still a bit of hail on it, but that's about it. There's also 70-mile-per-hour winds possible with this, as it shows it on the severe thunderstorm warning. It is possible we get 70-mile-per-hour winds on this. I'm not seeing too strong of winds, but it might develop them soon. Or maybe it was a report, so we'll see what that exactly was about. And there's a little bit of rotation near the storm near Antigo, Wisconsin, but it's not looking amazing or anything like that. That could also be inflow. It's right on the edge here. That kind of showcases some contamination. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's contamination of some sort. And then we have a tiny bit of rotation near Knowlton, Wisconsin, but it's not really doing much, I feel like. This should be near I-39 and its junction with US Highway 10. We did just get a severe thunderstorm warning for the storm north of St. Louis, so let's look at it now. 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Not anything too insane with the rotation, but there is some hail in this for sure. It's definitely a developing supercell. So you can see a little bit of a hail core there as it heads towards Chesterfield, Illinois. Once again, guys, if you have any questions, make sure to comment or just put my name in highlighted by just adding me in chat, just so I know that you guys are talking about me. You don't have to do that. You could just, ask me a question and not at somebody else. So we now have 4 tornado warnings active, especially since we now have a new tornado warning that has developed in Wisconsin near Montello. And you can see the rotation right here. It is in the right spot. It is in the reflectivity as it heads towards the southeast. It's gonna go right into Montello. Doesn't look like anything's active, like any tornado actually on the ground. However, we still have to be in our safe spot for this because it could develop at any time. Your safe spot, of course, is the most interior room of a sturdy building. Not necessarily your house, but it could be your house. If you live in a mobile home, which is your house, then you would have to evacuate and move to a sturdier shelter, which would be like your friend's house or a sturdy shelter nearby. Make sure you go there, and make sure that you are entering into a room that is interior and as far away from the outside world as possible. You have to make sure that as many walls exist between you and the outside world. If you were to walk through walls, if all of the walls in that room you walk through would lead you to another room, then you are safe. But if you would enter outside if you walk through any of the walls, then you are not safe and you have to move to the former. So that's generally what we're looking at. Also, be aware, if you don't have a basement, basements usually are the best, but if you don't have a basement, usually you would have to go to an interior bathroom and shield yourself by putting a hard surface on top, low surface on bottom, towards you, on top of you. That would be like a mattress or something. But this is heading towards Montello. There is increasing rotation with this storm. I did notice that. There is a bit of an increase in rotation as it moves towards Montello in the Grand River Marsh Wildlife Area. So I would say this is trying to develop a tornado, so please be aware if you live in the area. This definitely is trying to develop. Definitely could get a risk there of seeing a tornado. Meanwhile, these storms in Colorado aren't really doing much, I would say. They have a little bit of activity with them, but I'm not really seeing any definitive tornadic signatures with them right yet. Bro, there's no way it was muted this entire time. Okay, I don't think it was muted the entire time, but it just automatically mutes me for some reason. I don't know why it does that. But anyways, I mean, I'm just, like, saying that there could be a potential tornado warning in Illinois. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, I feel like this has wait, is this the same scan? I think this is the same scan, never mind. But it does still have a hook there, so we'll see if anything develops. We do also have this little supercell near Davis Junction, Illinois. Not seeing much with it, but it could become tornadic in the future, so we'll watch it. We'll watch it as it heads towards Sycamore. Still watching this tornado watch, though, where the main tornado risk is supposed to be. I mean, we definitely are getting our hail risk. We got a few baseball-sized hail events already. But they were in tornado warnings, so. Still watching these storms in Illinois if they can get their act together, but not really expecting much tornadic activity in Illinois. Except for maybe this storm in Algonquin. Let me see the rotation now. Could have developed. It did weaken a little bit. It weakened a tiny bit. But it's still there, so I'm wondering if they'll issue a tornado warning, but if they don't, it's not a big deal. Just be aware that there is potential rotation near you if you live in that general region near Schaumburg, Arlington Heights in the future, and then most closely to Carpentersville, West Dundee. Still severe thunderstorm warning for Green Bay. You're getting some hail in that region now, so make sure to put your pets inside, put your cars potentially inside. It's not going to be any big hailstorm, but definitely will cause some damage if you leave stuff outside, so put everything inside if you can. But of course, the main hail risk is with these storms in Colorado. We're not really seeing too much. There is now a severe thunderstorm warning for Raton in New Mexico, just across the border from Colorado. So we'll see how that develops. We also do have a severe thunderstorm warning near Ely, Nevada, in the middle of nowhere, basically, near Railroad Valley. So that, I don't know exactly what we're going to see with that, because that's not, like, doing much, not in very populated areas, but could develop into more of a windstorm. I think that's the main concern, of course, with this whole risk in Utah and Nevada. Anyways, let's see if we can see that Illinois storm. I'm wondering if we could. Let me just get it. Cameras. Plug in my computer again because I unplugged it when I ate dinner. Where are the cameras? There were cameras in Illinois. I don't. Oh, here. I think these are. I'm unsure though, because I don't know how to pop them up. Maybe. Where are we? Near Elgin. So here. Yeah, we get a snapshot of the camera. So here. This is all we're really seeing. It is a big storm, but there's too many trees in the way, so I can't really see much. But definitely a big storm, potentially in that region. Potentially a base on it. It's just really hard to tell with all the trees. So you can see it on the bottom right corner. Still have this up. This storm in central Illinois is starting to interest me, because it does look a little bit more supercellular. I don't think there's any real tornado risk in this region, but interesting structure to it, probably. Not any real tornado threat with it, though. Even though there is this weird rotation signature. That is weird. Is that anticyclonic? Well, it's weird. It's like an anticyclonic part and then a non-anticyclonic part. Well, a cyclonic part. So, I don't know, that's an interesting storm, but I don't think it's rotating. It doesn't really look like real rotation. This kind of does, though. Over here near Davis Junction. It's kind of developed it over the last few scans, and that is in the reflectivity, but I don't know if it's in the hook, but I do think that could potentially have some rotation as it moves towards the southeast, towards Sycamore. Not anything crazy, though, but there is some tornado potential with pretty much all of these storms, because they're in a good environment, so not an amazing environment, but a good one. We now do have the storm in Green Bay, warned for golf ball size hail, 1.75 inch in diameter. So definitely be aware in Green Bay. Please put all of your belongings inside. Make sure they don't get hurt by the hail. So that would cause some damage. We did just get a severe thunderstorm warning, I think up here near Wheatland, Wyoming. Or I think it already existed. But it does have some good hail on it. It's just, I think this radar is a little bit skewed, so they might keep it at 1 inch. Some of the radars in this western area are kind of skewed sometimes. I guess due to the mountains. But yeah, still 2 tornado warnings active. 1 in Montello, 1 in Green Lake. Both of them will expire in 8 minutes. Seems like things get less active when I'm live. It always seems like that, but still has some tornado warnings active, so we'll see what happens. Still have the rest of the night to go. Very intense hailstorm still through Green Bay. So we'll continue to watch that storm. Definitely still trying to develop there. Still a severe thunderstorm warning over here near Knowlton and Stevens Point. Okay, so we did just get a tornado warning for that Algonquin-Carpentersville storm. That is what I was expecting eventually. There is some rotation developing right here near Carpentersville, and it's going to go right into Carpentersville, so that is pretty much what I expected. I did expect we would eventually get a tornado warning for this area, so it's heading towards South Barrington. So just be in your safe spot if you live in this highly populated area. It's not likely a tornado on the ground, but it could be, so definitely still remain in your safe spot, which is the most interior room of a sturdy shelter, just in case, away from outdoors, in any way possible. But make sure to stay in your safe spot because of that. If you live in these areas in Illinois. Latest scan, though, it doesn't look as strong, the rotation. I mean, it looks stronger for a second. I mean, it's hard to tell with this storm, because there's like a whole bunch of our little rotations over here, but it honestly looks like that could be the inflow. Because it doesn't look like real rotation anymore. It could be the inflow. Except for this. This looks like real rotation heading right into Carpentersville. Maybe that's what I was looking at initially. I don't know. I confuse myself sometimes. But I think that's what we were looking at. Right there. But you're still looking at these tornado warnings in central Wisconsin. One heading towards Fairwater and Brandon. Still watching those storms. Still watching this one near Marquette, Wisconsin. Not Michigan, Wisconsin. But yes, this still is a potential area of rotation heading south of Carpentersville. So we currently have 3 tornado warnings, all in the Midwest. But yeah, guys, just make sure to spread this to anybody possible. We need to get the message out, so make sure you get the message out if you can, of course. Especially with this tornado warning here in Carpentersville, where it is a highly populated area. Of course, if you live in Carpentersville, you should be getting into the most interior room of a sturdy shelter. Put as many walls between your body and any portion that is outside, the outside world. If you were to walk through walls, make sure you enter a room where, if you were to walk through all of the walls, you would never end up outside and just end up in another room. And if you don't have a basement, which is preferably the best way in order to protect yourself, you would have to go into an interior bathroom and put a hard surface between you and the debris that would fly towards you, like a mattress. We did just get an extension for one of the Wisconsin tornado warnings, now heading towards Waupun. This one, I do imagine, will expire in 2 minutes, because I'm not really seeing much with it. But this one near Brandon does still have a decent, fair amount of rotation, as it heads towards the south-southeast. And you can still see that little hook over here. The little S shape. So it will head towards Waupun, We'll see how that develops over time. But our main concern is honestly this storm, just because of how populated the area that it's in is. But of course, everybody matters. So. Still looking back here in Colorado, we're still waiting for our threat to fully materialize. We still have a tornado possible tag on this 2-inch hailstorm. So definitely still a concern at the moment, but not anything crazy. Let's see if we got a new scan here. Oh, well, interesting. This is a terminal radar. I should have checked this. You can't really see it there. Maybe this. Let's just use the regular radar. So 4 tornado warnings active. However, I expect that to become 3 again, so that's why I'm keeping the 3. Still a very strong storm in Green Bay, so definitely still be indoors for this. This is still a big hailstorm. Definitely not too typical for Wisconsin. Still this severe thunderstorm warning north of Shipman, Illinois. Not doing much, but we're still watching it. We still have this severe thunderstorm warning in the 2% risk in Oklahoma, but it's in a radar hole, so we can't really see much with it. We can see a little bit maybe, but I don't see any rotation with it, so that's good news. Still have the severe thunderstorm warning in Raton, New Mexico. That also just got a flood advisory, so note that. Some flooding might be possible. Let's look at a camera again, even though it's a frame-by-frame camera. Let's look at see if it's updated so far. Let's try again. It is getting darker in the region. Can't really see much. So let me see if I can find another camera, because I feel like that was too close to where we were supposed to be. Maybe this. Okay, well, that's looking less, too. I think that's the same one. Where is a good one? Right here. I think this is good. Can't really see much, to be honest. This is only from 6 minutes ago, but you can't really see much with the storm. This is a good view, but can't really see too much with it. So, I'm unsure if there's like a tornado on the ground or anything like that. It does look a little weaker on the next scan, right over East Dundee. So, we'll see what happens with it. I mean, I do think they'll keep the tornado warning for just a little bit longer, for sure. But now we have only 2 tornado warnings, so... Well, yeah, because one of them was the extension, so... Let's change that. Two tornado warnings were active. Still an interesting storm back here heading towards Sycamore. It was just warned tornado possible on the severe thunderstorm warning. So it wouldn't be... Yeah, that rotation is definitely picking up a little bit in Illinois. I wouldn't be surprised if we start getting a tornado warning heading towards DeKalb. Because this storm is looking a little more interesting than it used to. I mean... I don't think that's inflow because this scan is 1 minute ahead. And this is where the rotation would be. It's right in this area. Yeah, so I think that scan being 1 minute ahead, that definitely showcases that this might be some sort of tornadic supercell. So I do think we're going to get another tornado warning heading towards the cab in this general region. Maybe a little bit, like, more skewed than that. But yeah, that does look like an interesting storm. I wouldn't be surprised if they throw a tornado warning on that. And, to be honest... Interesting signature right here, but I don't think that's a CC drop or anything. I think that's just hail. But there is also a big hail with this storm, just to note that. There's 2-inch hail with this storm in diameter. That would be line size, so definitely stay inside no matter what. Even if this does produce a tornado, doesn't produce a tornado, still stay inside because this storm could definitely damage you and your house and your belongings and all that. Very interesting what's developing in Illinois and not Colorado. Where this storm near Fort Morgan continues to weaken. It is not as much of a hail producer as it used to be. It might still potentially produce a tornado in the future, but definitely not the storm it used to be. I will say that. Still looking mainly here in Illinois and Wisconsin. The storm looks very suspicious, I will say that. It's looking very suspicious right now. And so is this storm. I mean, this really is trying to develop over here near West Dundee. Yeah, definitely could be getting a tornado developing with this storm. And unfortunately, it's getting right outside the tornado warning, too. It's heading right outside of it. Like, it's still kind of paralleling to it, but that's not good. I think we might need an extension towards Elgin. This is heading more towards Streamwood than anything. Yeah, I mean, this rotation's kind of broad. It's not anything too insane. You can see a little bit of a separation between the grays and the whites, but I think it is starting to materialize. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to become a tornado soon. I mean, just look at the structure, too. It is kind of in a linear type thing, but definitely not what I expected for Illinois this time around. But pretty much, it's always Illinois at this point, isn't it? This storm closer to Malta and DeKalb is getting a little bit weaker. I mean, not with the hail. I mean, with the rotation. It's not anything well, that's the storm relative. But over here, this is where the rotation would be. Not here, because that's where the reflectivity doesn't match. But right here, it's not anything too insane. So, I would be surprised if there is a tornado with that, but we'll see if they issue the tornado warning. They might still have to. Yes, we still have 2 tornado warnings in effect. See if 3 gets issued. No CC job on this, though, so definitely not a tornado. Yet. Still have a lot to look at. We still have the storm in Nevada that's trying to do stuff, but it's really in the middle of nowhere. Heading towards Lund, which is a small town by the looks of it. So, bit of hail, bit of wind. That's all you're really going to get with that storm. That's the little old scan. We'll see when the new scan comes in. Nah. That's just hail. I think that's just hail right here. The tornado signature would be down here, so I think that's just hail. But we'll see. We'll see what they do with it. Okay, the rotation isn't as strong as it was before. It's even more broad, even though it was already kind of broad. But you can see there's still some strong winds with this, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe this gets upgraded to 70 miles per hour or something. Because there is slightly stronger winds as the storm develops. And over here, the rotation has kind of not completely died out, but it's looking a little broad. This is where it would be. And it's still there, but I don't know. I'm not sure if they're going to issue a tornado warning with that. That's a little, not quite there yet. There is this storm near Dixon. A lot of... You know what, I'm not going to finish that sentence. But, another storm near Harmon, Illinois. This hail risk. That looks a little bit tornadic. It's trying to develop some rotation here, too. It is tornado possible warned now, so there is the potential for a tornado to form. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. If we get a tornado warning soon, but our only tornado warning in Illinois still remains to be this storm. Near Poplar Creek Forest Reserve and Steamwood. That's our only tornado warning at the moment in Illinois. Because we do have this other tornado warning in Wisconsin. In Waupun. Bunch of interesting storms still with all these storms in the Illinois area. Definitely not how I expected today to play out, but here we are. Definitely an interesting setup. Let's see if we can find maybe a different, or if this camera updated maybe. It did, but you can't really see much. You can just see some rain coming in. So let me see if we can get another camera, maybe. Just maybe. In the Streamwood area. Let me just change the scene. Well, that's very small. And I don't think that's going to work. There's a bunch of cameras in this area. Once again, that's very small. I don't think that's going to work. And once again. Maybe this if it's facing east. You can't really see much on these Illinois cameras, so I'm not going to put too much confidence in them. It's not looking like anything crazy right now on those cameras. You can see there's some big winds starting to develop with this storm, so I feel like that's going to become the main concern. It is now warned for 70 mile per hour winds, so 70 mile per hour winds indicates that you have to be inside, maybe approaching that safe spot. Maybe approaching that safe spot a little bit. But not quite there yet. And then over here, you can see this tail end type storm near Malta. It doesn't have too much rotation on it, but I'm still watching it. And then, of course, we have the storm near Harmon and Dixon. Not anything insane either. And also, there was this new severe thunderstorm warning near Peru and Ottawa. So I'm noting that. Does have some rotation, but not anything insane. Not tornado possible warned. I agree with that. It doesn't look that bad. So we're still watching the storm that is tornado warning near Streamwood with very broad but still prominent rotation. This is fully outside the tornado warning now, so I wonder what that's going to mean. I don't know if they're going to extend it. It doesn't look like it's a big tornadic storm. It looks mostly wind-driven. This looks mostly wind. So, I'm not really sure if this is really tornadic. But we'll see if they continue the tornado warning. We'll see. We're still watching this storm near DeKalb, but it's not looking that good anymore. Still have this big hailstorm in Green Bay, so still be indoors. Still pretty much remaining in the same area, so I wouldn't be surprised if a flooding threat... There already is a flood advisory in the area, but I wouldn't be surprised if a flood threat develops from this, because it's not really moving much. It's moving very slowly towards the south-southeast. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a flood threat develop and materialize there. We still have the storm near St. Louis, but it's not looking as intense as it was before. I am surprised that it doesn't have a severe warning right now, but it did have it briefly. I guess it had a bit of a more reflectivity signature there. It had like 70 dBz for a second right there. Just make sure. It was a little bit northwest of that, but still. This is an interesting little hook that's developing near Malta, but I don't think that means much. It actually might. That is a little bit weird of a rotation signature there. I want to wait one more scan, just to see if that's worthy of a tornado warning. That does look interesting. This might actually try to produce a tornado as it develops. So, I would suggest maybe to switch this tornado warning out with this, but... Not saying it's gonna happen. It might, but it's not. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. And plus, it's not looking that concerning right now. It's still an area of rotation, but it's not looking anything that concerning. So 2 tornado warnings active, one of them heading towards Waupun, Wisconsin. Just make sure you're in your safe spot if you live in that area, and most interior room of a sturdy shelter, such as a bathroom or a basement. And then over here, just west of Schaumburg, pretty much in a very small area now, near Poplar Creek Forest Reserve. So I do think this tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire, just based on how small this is. I mean, I don't know if this was updated or not. I think it was always this small, or like pretty small. We just scan on this storm, it's still not coming. Still gotta wait a little bit. Every scan is like 3 minutes away from each other, so gotta wait 1 more minute. This storm looks a little bit less supercellular now. There is this little hook feature, like, part reaching out towards, like, maybe an alpha boundary or something, but I think this does look a little bit less tornadic, so they kind of issued the tornado possible as it was becoming less tornadic. So that's interesting. Do we have a new scan? Yeah, I mean, this still has a hook. Still has a hook right west of DeKalb. Still haven't come out with that new velocity yet, though. And there it is. Not as strong as before, but it still exists. Right here. I mean, it's like right on the edge of that reflectivity. Right here. Hang on, let me just check. Gotta double screen this. I don't know why it doesn't, like, circle it at the same time. Okay. I'm just trying to figure this out, how we would circle it at the same time. Alright, this is right northeast of Malta, Northern Illinois University. Northern Illinois University. Yeah, it's right there. It's like right at the edge of the hook. I feel like this is rotation then. But it's not too insane, so I'm unsure if they're gonna issue the tornado warning. It looks a little interesting, but still quite unsure. It's a 50-50 chance, I would say. Still, be prepared to get into your safe button decab. Not there yet, but be prepared. Over here, also be prepared. If you live in Schaumburg, Bartlett, Wheaton, Bloomingdale, Bensonville, just in case it gets just upgraded to 80 mile per hour winds. We did just get a special weather statement near Poplar Bluff, Missouri, but that's not really showing much. It's not really in a severe risk at all. We also did just get a severe thunderstorm warning here near Rock River, Wyoming. This is before the Rocky Mountains, so I'm unsure how the Rocky Mountains are going to interfere with the storm, or like the eastern slopes of the Rocky Mountains. But has some hail to it, so definitely no tornado risk if it's still behind the mountains, though, I would say. I mean, maybe some, but it's mostly behind the mountains. This storm looks like it's trying to get its act together again. You can see a small little bit of 70 dBz right there. Southeast of Akron. So it might be trying to get its act together again. I don't know about the tornadic side of things, but looks a little more interesting now. And this storm near Pete's also has developed, but not too much hail on that. Does look like it could get a severe warning, though, so watch out. We also do have the storm near Torrington, Wyoming, and Hemingford, Nebraska. 1 inch hail, 16 mile per hour winds on that. We also did just get this watch thing. Mesoscale discussion. There is some low-end severe risk that is possible. You can see these small little storms that develop in northwestern Indiana. It is in the 2% tornado risk, and there is 90 mile per hour wind tornadoes possible with that, so we'll see what happens. This rotation looks like it is beginning to weaken a little bit, so that's good news. It's still there, but the hook is still there as well. But it's not anything insane. I think that we're mostly okay. So that was a close call, but I don't think that was a tornado or anything like that. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. We would have seen the signature. Over here near Waupun. Not seeing much once again. Yeah, this storm is looking a bit outflow dominant right now. I'm not really seeing much tornadicness to this. That's a word. And then, I guess this is the most tornadic storm we have. But it is trying to come together near Streamwood, but not perfect yet. It's a little bit close. But it's still completely outside of that tornado warning, so I'm unsure if they're going to extend it or just going to keep it there. I don't know. I mean, we could look for more cameras here. Let's look. I mean, not expecting much to see. I mean, you probably could see the storm to the left, but it has a little bit of a base if that is the storm, but I'm unsure if that even is the storm, so it's hard to tell. Very hard to tell. Sorry. This is looking like a supercell in North Utica, Illinois, but it's not really tornadic right now. You can't see much rotation with it, so I think we're okay. But we still have a hail risk with that, so still be indoors. We also got a severe thunderstorm warning all the way back here near Rawlins, Wyoming. That's not something you see every day. That's pretty far west. But it happens. And of course, we do have these severe thunderstorm warnings in Nevada, too, so. Bunch of little storms developing in Wyoming. So we'll see if the tornado risk starts to materialize there. Still have yet to end this event. Still got those tornado warnings, but I don't think we've had a tornado yet in that area. It is 7:40 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:40 p.m. Central Time, and 5:40 p.m. Mountain Time. We are continuing to watch these storms in Wisconsin, also a little bit in Illinois, and in Colorado. But our main tornado warning, only tornado warning now, is in Wisconsin. And that might go away soon. So I'm going to change the text to 1 tornado warning, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get down to 0 briefly. We'll see if anything happens down there in Colorado and Wyoming. Or up there, whatever you want to consider it. Not really seeing much rotation on the storm near Waupun yet. These winds continue to get stronger over here near Bartlett, Illinois, though. So it heads towards Roselle. This is still warned for 70-mile-per-hour winds. I agree with it. But it is beginning to strengthen. And also get more widespread as it approaches towards Hanover Park. So that's something to note. Definitely could develop as we get closer to the end of the hour. I'm unsure if this is rotation near. No, it's just contamination. Never mind. Thought it was rotation. Still have 18 severe thunderstorm warnings, so similar to what we were at the last live stream. Over here near Laramie, we still are seeing this storm, also near Rock River. It's trying to intensify and maybe become tornadic. There is a small signature here that might indicate some rotation, but it's not really anything insane. I wouldn't put my heart into it for forming a tornado, but who knows? We've seen crazier things happen. That is a very mountainous area, though, I'm aware, so. Still this 5% tornado risk for Cheyenne, Fort Collins, Fort Morgan. Oh, that goes a little far. I meant here. Sterling, Sydney, Kimball. So still watching that 5% risk. That's our main risk today. Is this an extension? Well, it's weird. There's like a little tiny severe thunderstorm that's being birthed from the severe thunderstorm that already existed. Or, I don't know, it's like other convection. Oh, no. This is a different storm entirely. Okay, I don't know what I was thinking. This is a different storm entirely. The one that was near Fort Morgan earlier. It's trying to redevelop, so it has some ping-pong ball-sized hail right now. We'll see if it redevelops anymore, but just stay indoors for that. If anyone actually lives there. I think they do. There is some hail trying to develop with the storm. You can see some higher DBZ values. I believe that's around... Sorry. 68 or something? 69. So 69 DBZ with the storm. So this might actually produce some pretty large hail. Not anything insane, but maybe golf ball size at most. Similar to what this Green Bay storm is doing. Which has itself kind of dissipated. It's not as much of hail. It might have just been larger. It might have been intensified or looked stronger from the radar, but... Because it was so close to it, but we'll see. There might have been some damage, but I don't know. This is looking like less of a tornado threat now. I would say as it continues to move southeast, this is going to pose less of a tornado threat. And this entire area is looking less tornadic, to be honest. So, we'll see how long this tornado threat lasts. There is still a 2% in the region. We're continuing to watch. We do now have another severe thunderstorm warning approaching Laramie. So, bunch of severe thunderstorms coming from all different directions approaching Laramie. Well, this one's kind of heading north. This must be a north-south split storm. Or not. Okay, I see what's going on. So, this storm initially was one storm, and now it's becoming a north-south split. Basically, what that means, the north part that is heading more in a northerly direction is going to be more hail-prone. It's going to cause more hail in the future. This might become more tornadic, but that doesn't always happen. But they both will cause some impacts. This becomes more of a wind impact, most likely. But we'll see what happens with it. This is just barely in the tornado watch as it heads towards Laramie, so we'll see what happens. Still lots of storms in this region. Once again, guys, if you want to chat, just to ask any questions about your area or anything like that, just make sure to do so, if you can. Helps get the message to me, just to tell you, like, dedicate more of the live stream to your desires, possibly. Some big winds still existing on this storm near Kale Stream, but not anything too insane. Still notable. Still have 13 minutes left on our tornado warning in Wisconsin. Still surprised it's kind of out, because this is looking more like a hail risk every day. Or every minute, rather. As it heads towards Waupun and across... What highway is this? If you would tell me. Frontage Road? No, wait, no. Okay, what highway is this near Waupun? Let me look. Just gotta look on my phone. US 151. So US 151 right here is probably getting a lot of hail. Still lots of storms in Illinois and somewhat in Indiana starting to develop. Still see this little bit of a hook near Ottawa, Illinois, but it's not much rotation on it, so not seeing much with it. See if anything develops, though. We did just get a new mesoskill discussion where a watch is expected in North Platte and Lexington and Holdridge. Let's see what it's for. The severe risk should expand east of Tornado Watch 389 into western Nebraska, far northwestern Kansas through the evening hours. Severe wind and hail are the main threats, though a tornado is possible. So we are expecting, even though this is outside the 5% and even the 2% for the most part, we are expecting a notable, not really a notable, but a noticeable tornado threat in this region. So we are expecting 85 to 110 mile per hour tornadoes to be possible in this region. So that definitely is interesting. And speaking of which, near this mesoscale discussion, we did just get a tornado warning for the storm near Pete's, heading towards Crook. So that's now a tornado warning. It's really hard to tell what's going on with the storm, to be honest. The radar's pretty far away, but you can see a tiny bit of rotation there. I think they just warned it due to on-ground reports. No, they say radar indicated rotation. I kind of see it, but it's really hard to see much with the storm, so just take their word for it. This also might be rotation. It's hard to tell. Let me just see if that lines up with the reflector. That doesn't, but the one to the west, this little thing, well, it used to exist, but I don't know why the rotation already dissipated on that, but it might be one inflow. It's kind of hard to tell, but either way, this is capable of producing a tornado. It does look like a typical supercell, so I wouldn't be surprised if that puts down a tornado at some point. Right next to this mesoscale discussion where a new watch will be issued. We still do have this tornado warning in Wisconsin, but I imagine that'll expire soon. We're not really seeing much with it. But yeah, we're now up to 2 tornado warnings. It's probably going to go back to 1 soon, but I'll change it just in case. Okay, they're extending this. I'm honestly a little surprised, but I mean, maybe they're seeing something that we don't. It's fine. Still have these areas under a tornado warning, it looks like, including Juneau, Horicon, or Horson, or whatever it is. Mayville, Theresa, and Kokoski now under the tornado warning now. So, be in your safe spot in these regions. As a tornado is possibly developing near you, just go to the most interior room of a sturdy shelter. Make sure you do that very soon. Or now. So that would bring us up to 3 tornado warnings. We are seeing some more storms develop in eastern Wyoming, so I do think that we're continuing to see development of these storms, and we are going to see more of a tornado threat in the future. It just took a brief pause there, but I do think we are starting to set up for potentially a notable tornado threat. Not anything too insane, but definitely more than what we've seen. Because the main risk has been over here lately. I guess let's look at the environment, just in case. We gotta see the environment out ahead of these storms. Let's look over here. In that general region. Let's say it's over here. No, it's not it. Okay, this works. Wind shear. There's some good wind shear in this area. Especially where that tornado warning is. Lower wind shear is good. Upper wind shear is awesome. Well, not awesome, but like, you know, good for the storm. I don't know why I said that. Very good SRH. But I think that's just due to the storm. Yeah, the SRH is good with the storm, so definitely bad sign. The one thing is, this area is capped, but not up here in eastern Wyoming into western Nebraska, so that will be interesting to know. I'm wondering if we'll get more of a tornado threat up there. But we are still seeing the storm in Colorado, too. Mid-level lapse rates. Not amazing, but still up there. So we'll see what happens. And composite indices, very good supercell composite, and there's a violent tornado parameter, but I never use it. Interesting how this is capped, but you can see there's up to one significant tornado parameter up there. We're not really expecting significant tornadoes in this area, but, you know, you never know. We could get a curveball, especially with the EF2 tornado we saw in Wyoming the other day. It was in a similar environment. Is this an area rotation? It kind of looks anticyclonic, but not really. It's more inflow. We'll see if they want it, but I don't think that's actually rotation. Could be, but it's not really. I don't know. That would be near Marcellin, Wisconsin. This would be southeast of Montello, that previously had a warning. But we're not seeing as much in this Wisconsin-Illinois area anymore, it does seem like. Still this big windstorm starting to develop, though, towards Chicago. Just southwest of Chicago right now. Or west. Just gotta get the hydration in. Man. I'm also just looking at this. I don't know if you guys know about this. I mean, I pay attention to earthquakes sometimes, but... Here, let me look up this here. Just be right back. I don't know if you guys pay attention to earthquakes, but... Why is there like 3 of these? I have no idea why that's the case. And you know what? Never mind. It doesn't matter. Okay, here. Man, we've been rattled with earthquakes recently. We've had 3 big earthquakes in Venezuela. Or no, just 2. I was confused for a second. Yeah, 2. One of them 7.5. Also, we did just have that 5.6 in California, too. Then we had one 6.9 near Japan. So definitely quite a bit of earthquakes. So if we need to start looking at the tsunami warnings and all that stuff, we will. But it doesn't seem like a big threat right now. It's a small threat, but it is there. So if we need to transition to that, we could. It's not really related to weather, but still interesting. So we might as well change it if we have to. If we have to. Anyways, guys, I've been sitting here for like an hour and a half almost, so let me just go away for a second. I'll be right back. Just needed to stretch my legs a little. I'm back. Just needed to do it for a little bit. So you have 2 tornado warnings active currently. One near Crook, Colorado. So it's in the 5% risk. That's still showcasing some rotation, but you can't see much because it's far away from the radar. And then one near Waupun, Wisconsin, mostly in Mayville now. They kind of squished it a little bit, this tornado warning. You can see the rotation a little bit better from the Denver radar, so let's look at it. I mean, it's heading towards the southeast. I don't know what that arrow is. I kind of had a little bit of a thing. Well, that happened. My hand was shaking or something. Does look like they're going to continue this severe thunderstorm warnings with 60-mile-per-hour winds instead of 70. It does seem like the winds have weakened a little bit, but they're still pretty widespread, so still be indoors and away from windows and doors. But you don't have to really be close to your safe spot anymore. You can move away from it. Interesting little storm near Nettle Creek. This has a bit of rotation on it, actually, but it looks like a typical supercell. It's not anything insane, the rotation, but I wouldn't be surprised if it starts to develop it soon. Little storm near Nettle Creek. That looks interesting. Bunch of little interesting storms in Illinois, honestly. Still have this watch possible in the Utah area, Nevada area. We're still waiting for a potential watch, but we'll see if it's issued. Watch is still possible. This is starting to develop its rotation a little bit. At least from the Cheyenne radar. Let me see from the Denver radar. I don't know which one's close. I think this one is a bit closer, but can't really see much from it. You see a little bit of a hook developing near Iliff and Crook, Colorado. Yeah, and that is some rotation, so definitely worthy of a tornado warning right now. And this now has baseball-size hail. So now there's 2 reasons to get to your safe spot. Because, of course, baseball-size hail can definitely knock through your windows, possibly hurt you, possibly hurt your pets. So make sure you get everybody inside and into their safe spots, as that's definitely possible that one of you guys will be damaged, and a lot of your belongings, too. So be aware of that. This is not only a tornado warning, but you need to get into the most interior room of your house. You also need to get into the most interior room of a sturdy shelter because of the hail, which was expected to be a concern today. We did just get a severe thunderstorm warning over here near Yoder, Wyoming. Not too much with it, but you can see a little bit of hail inside. it is now warned for ping pong ball size hail. You can see this whole mess west of Laramie. I don't know what's happening here. Is it like a line or something? I don't know. It's just a whole mess that's starting to develop over here. Very interesting. We can look at some cameras in that area, I guess. I mean, let me look. There's some cameras in Wyoming, so... They're not video cameras, they're only frame by frame, but... Wouldn't be surprised we could see those storms, so... Why isn't this working? Okay. Wow. You can see a ton of dark clouds over there. Yeah, it's just dark clouds all around, isn't it? Just a bunch of big storms in that region. And we can also check on this Colorado storm. I believe there's some cameras there. I'm not sure. It could be... I mean, there's one kind of close. Can't really see much on this. This goes eastbound, so... Yeah, it's a little blurry, this camera. Here, let me show you. This camera's a little blurry, but it's definitely still notable to look at. We can't see any tornadoes or anything with this, though. But you can see a big storm with a very large updraft. So that's something to note. Definitely is a strong storm, so you shouldn't mess around with it. We did just get our watch for that region. It actually isn't a tornado watch. I was expecting a tornado watch because of that tornado probability, but we actually did get a severe thunderstorm watch in Nebraska and Kansas, potentially for some strong winds and some hail. Let me see exactly what the probs are on this. There is a less than 2% chance of a strong tornado, so I'm not really expecting strong tornadoes of this, but 20% chance of 2+ tornadoes. We're also seeing some 40% chance for severe wind events, and 40% chance for severe hail events, and also a 40% chance for some big hail, and a 40% chance of some big wind. So we definitely have a lot of probabilities that are pointing towards a big hail and big wind risk. So yeah. There is more strong tornadoes possible in this tornado watch, though, so I see where the difference is. Like, here the probabilities are much lower, but they still kind of have the same probabilities on the mesoscale discussion. Here they're much higher, especially in this area, so that's where they issued the more higher props tornado watch. Just checking my door is closed. I mean, you know, you might be able to hear the dog barking. 2 tornado warnings still active. 1 in Wisconsin, 1 in Colorado. And I mean, we still have this one near Randolph, which still has a bit of rotation. It looks anticyclonic right now, though, so I'm not sure if that's active. Yeah, that's not real. But still existing. We also do have a storm near Peoria that's moving southeast. Bit of hail in it. And a bit of strong winds. It almost looks like it's rotation, but I don't think it is. I think it's more winds. Because this is a very weird play sign signature of the winds. You can also see there's still some rotation in Nettle Creek. But it's looking a little bit less robust of the storm. So, not really expecting much with it. Still a bunch of storms in the southeastern Wyoming area, so we'll see what happens with them. We also did just get a storm form near Greeley, Colorado. It's more of a populated area. You can see it here. Not much rotation on it, but it probably will become a big hailstorm. Not too much to say here yet, folks. I mean, still have those slew of severe thunderstorm warnings and such. So, still got to look at those. We did just get an extension. Oh, man. This is a tornado on the ground. I didn't even notice, actually. I think it already was said to be a tornado on the ground. But, yes, we do have law enforcement confirming a tornado on the ground in Colorado, approaching towards Fleming, Colorado. So be aware in Fleming, Colorado, you have to get your safe spot now, not later, now. Especially since there is a tornado on the ground, ongoing. So this tornado could potentially overturn a mobile home and such. So evacuate those, head towards a sturdy shelter, sturdy building with an interior room or basement, and put a hard surface between you and the outside world that could damage you. Like a mattress, for example, in a bathtub. And also, make sure that you're away from any walls that are connected to the outside. So if you were to walk through walls, make sure that those walls you wouldn't end up outside in. Yeah, this is an observed tornado. We wouldn't be able to look at it because I'm pretty sure there's no cameras in this area, but we'll take their word for it. You can't actually see on this Colorado camera that there is quite a bit of wind. So, I don't think that's tornadic or anything like that, no. But definitely some wind. And I feel like we could look here. What latitude is this at? It is near Sterling, so we would want it. Yeah, this does look east. Okay, never mind. This does look east. So, that's the storm over there. We can't see a tornado with it, but it probably is producing one. It might be rain-wrapped. It is possible, but I don't think it is, because this is just a hailstorm. It's not like any sort of QLCS line or anything like that. It sometimes can be rain-wrapped even if it's not, but it doesn't look like a rain-wrapped storm. We do also have a storm near Hagler, Nebraska, straddling the tri-point between Colorado, Nebraska, and Kansas, but that's only showing a little bit of hail, not much more. You can see the storm continuing to move to the southeast, the observed tornado warning, so tornado on the ground with that. Let's change the thing. I'll say 2, because there is 2. So an observed tornado warning over here for northeastern Colorado, heading towards Fleming. So we'll see that develop. It's right on the edge of the 5% risk there, so. Looked like something near Nettle Creek, but it's gone. Yeah, and this rotation is gone too near Mayville, so if they extend this tornado warning again, I mean, I would get it, but it's not looking too tornadic right now, so I imagine they won't. I also see the storm near Wapaka that's looking a bit tornadic, but it has no rotation. Really, I think our main focus is shifting over here, where we do have an observed tornado warning active. Tornado is on the ground in Fleming. We do have these storms near Greeley, too. Still developing. With their hail cores. But yeah, still these storms. Still looking at them. You can see this storm right here is on an outflow boundary, so that might produce something if the outflow boundary couches up to it, and then the hook starts to develop here. So that might produce some tornadoes, but we're not really sure at the moment. This might be on an outflow boundary, and that's maybe the reason why it's developing a tornado right now. So just note that that's the logic behind this tornado development. But what you gotta know about this is that you gotta get to your safe spot if you live in Fleming. Which is a small town, it seems like. This is a tornado on the ground. And we don't know, maybe it's a strong one, but we don't really know. That's the problem. 'Cause it's so far out. Still have this tornado warning in Wisconsin, but I imagine they're going to drop it. Looks not that good. Yeah, you can kind of see the rotations here near Fleming. The closest radar is the Cheyenne radar still. You can kind of see it. It's like right here. I don't know what's anticyclonic and what's not. I think this is cyclonic, actually. Wait, no, this is anticyclonic, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure, anyways. Wait, let me just check real rotation. Yeah, this, okay. This is anticyclonic. This isn't, right here. Okay, so that's real. So we do have some real rotation north of Fleming, in between Crook and Fleming. This will move down towards Daly, so make sure you're in your safe spot over there. This is a tornado on the ground. Law enforcement reported it. So definitely a tornado over there. Of course, we can't look at any cameras because there's not really any cameras in the area, but gotta take my word for it because that's what the NWS said. So. We still had the severe storm near Akron, too. With some golf ball size hail, which is on the lowest side of things if you consider what today's risk is. You can see a little hook is developing on the storm, but I don't think it's really tornadic. It looks very weak and scraggly right now. So I'm not sure if this is actually going to produce a tornado. There is a tiny bit of rotation on it, but it looks more like inflow right now. So we'll see how that develops over time. Looks a bit interesting, though. So this might develop a tornado in the future. Let me see where it's headed. Headed towards, like, directly to the east. So it would head towards Sterling and Pete's eventually, but that's way too far out. Right now, it's just heading towards Grover. And see, this storm is going to continue to produce a tornado as long as it has that inflow. This inflow right over Fleming, it's definitely going to allow it. It's not perfect. The inflow is a little bit lopsided, but it's still there, so it still will have energy for the storm coming in through this. And then the output is going to be that tornado. So, there you go. This tornado watch heads all the way up here. So I'm seeing if any storms will develop up there. We do have one storm near Lusk, but that's in a horrible radar hole right now. Yeah. Pretty bad. If you look at this radar, I guess it's a little better, but still. Still a bunch of storms near Chicago. I'm not really seeing any rotation with them. It's mostly the winds that are the problem, even though those have even weakened. However, you can still see hail's probably a problem with this near Cicero and near Bolingbrook as it heads towards the southeast. So, we're still seeing a threat for hail in those regions. Not as much of a tornado threat anymore, but still watching these storms just in case if they can squeeze out a tornado. Even though this storm right here near Nettle Creek might do something. That is interesting. It still has some rotation on it. It's always had that. It's always had that signature, it seems. But we'll see if it continues with that signature, because then that might cause something. I mean, we still have this tornado warning in Wisconsin, so this might warrant a tornado warning. Yeah, you can see a little bit of a connection of red and green there. So. So we now only have one observed tornado warning active because the extension is now the tornado warning. We still have this tornado warning in Wisconsin, so we'll still continue to watch that. Still these severe thunderstorm warnings in Illinois, too. Definitely a little system here. All these storms moving south, east, southeast. Still watching this big hailstorm with a tornado. We are sure of it. It has a tornado. Now with apple-sized hail. So this is the hail risk is increasing. So still be aware of that. This hail risk is increasing. So you still got to be in your safe spot for more reasons than one. This hail risk is increasing as it's heading right towards Fleming. So this could cause a lot of damage in the town. Potentially some window punctures, some car window punctures. So be safe out there. Go into your safe spot. If you live in Fleming, Colorado. I mean, this storm is now on the outflow boundary, this one near Grover, so that would indicate that some tornado could develop, because the outflow boundary does cause more wind shear in that region. And, I mean, this rotation is getting a little bit stronger, so I wouldn't be surprised if we start to get some sort of severe thunderstorm warning first, and then a tornado warning approaching towards Grover. Because this storm rapidly developed, and it's right on the outflow boundary now, so we'll see what happens. I don't know if it's going to remain on the outflow boundary forever, but I've seen storms with that produce some big tornadoes before, so I don't think that's going to happen with this case. The environment's not as good, but can happen. Can happen. Still watching this tornado in Fleming. Let me see if we can get a camera on this storm in Greeley. Or Grover, rather. Because there probably is a camera near there. I do want to see it, just in case if it is producing something. This is the camera. Oh, well, now it's facing a completely different direction, so we're not going to use that anymore. But over here near Greeley, let's look. This is good. Oh, that's not a picture camera. This also isn't a picture camera, so I guess they're not all picture cameras. I don't know what shot that is. It's a tree falling or something. Yeah, why aren't all these... Why is everything else a camera? Okay, well this is... That's super blurry, so that's the problem. Yeah, that's not gonna help. It is looking northbound, so there's at least that, but... That's not looking northbound. This is okay of a camera, but of course it's paused again. I mean, this will do for now. Oh, wait, no, not this. This will do for now. This is looking... No, this is looking north. What about this? It's not really looking anymore. Can't tell where it's looking. Oh, maybe this will work. I think this is west or east. So that might be looking towards the storm, but we really can't see much in this area. There are cameras, but it's mostly along the interstates once again, so not much to see here. You can see there's a bunch of severe storms producing some pretty large hail, it seems, by the look of it, near Ogallala, Nebraska. So that definitely could cause some damage. I mean, I'm surprised this isn't one for higher hail, because those DBZ values look menacing. You can see over here, this is one for lime-sized hail, but could be more. We could just wait and see. We're not seeing the outflow boundary anymore. I don't know why. Oh, because it's on here. Wait, what? Oh, it's on this radar. My bad. That's my bad. Yeah, here's the outflow boundary. You can see it better on here. It is right connected to it, but we can't see much rotation right now, so it's still developing it. It would be right here. But I do think Grover's our next storm. There is our tornado report. Tornado confirmed by the fire department. Right over here near Fleming. So there probably was a tornado that hit Fleming at this point, so we'll see what the damage in the city or town was. But it does seem like we have gotten the tornado in Fleming. So that's unfortunate. Or about to get a tornado in Fleming. I mean, I think this is the rotation right here. It's extremely hard to tell. It's extremely hard to tell. Still have this on the outflow boundary, so still continuing to watch it, but Of course, we have a tornado down here. That's our main concern. Still an observed tornado warning. Wisconsin tornado warning's gone. I expected that, so. No longer any tornado warnings in Wisconsin or Illinois. And I think this risk is eventually going to deteriorate, but not over here yet. Still waiting for storms to develop here. Well, they already have developed. We're waiting for more development here. And this might be big over here. Alright guys, I'll be right back. I just need to go for a second. Let me turn this light on. That light on, because it's starting to get dark in here. Because the sun's setting. Yeah, I gotta do this. There we go. That's a little better. I'll stay here a little bit, but eh. My elbow's beginning to hurt because I keep putting my elbow on my desk. There still is a tornado on the ground. Just east of Sterling in Fleming, Colorado. We're still looking at the storm over here near Grover, which is really starting to develop. But it still has no rotation, so not too much of a concern with it right now. But it does look interesting, so I would continue to watch it. For sure. So we still have our 2 tornado risks over here in Colorado, Nebraska, Wyoming, and Kansas. Over here in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana. We do still have our wind risk over here in Utah. And we do have a smaller tornado risk in Oklahoma, but that hasn't really materialized. I don't think it's gonna. So, it's what we're generally looking at. Still looking at some storms. And there is our warning for the Grover storm. There is our warning. I told you guys. Now, it is time to get to your safe spot, because this is a tornadic storm, it looks like. Starting to come together and be tornadic right on the south boundary, too. So this is heading not directly towards Grover. I thought it was initially, but it's heading more of a southeast trajectory. That kind of is an indication that a tornado will develop as it heads more southeast towards a clockwise motion. So this is continuing to head just to the west of Grover, and potentially will produce a tornado soon, so be on the watch out for that. Be in your safe spot if you live in Grover. It's not going to head directly towards you, but it's going to be close. So I would still be in your safe spot if you live there. Go into a sturdy building with an interior shelter or basement. Put a mattress over your head if you're in the bathroom, in the bathtub specifically. Make sure that there's no walls that lead to the outside. We now have just gotten an extension to this observed tornado warning. It includes Haxton and Daly now. So, it does look like this tornado has moved through Fleming. And this is a little bit more of a clearer picture as we're getting a little bit closer to the Goodland radar. But this is a little bit clearer of a picture. Not the best picture. We still potentially have a tornado on the ground. It's still being reported by law enforcement, it seems like. No, this time by a weather spotter. So this definitely is still on the ground because we're getting multiple different reports from this. So we still definitely do have a tornado on the ground over here, approaching towards Haxton. We have this one observed tornado warning that's heading away from Fleming and towards Haxton. So Haxton, please be in your safe spot. This is a very dangerous storm. It is a tornado on the ground. So be aware of that. Be in your safe spot. Be alert. Be away from outside. I'm still not seeing much rotation on the storm near Grover on velocity, but I do agree with them choosing to put a tornado warning on it. It does look concerning. It's not that concerning on velocity. It still exists with some rotation on velocity, but this, I think, is the clearest signature I've seen all day. So I think it is good that they've went ahead and issued that tornado warning. Just continue watching it. It could produce a tornado at any moment, of course. 2 tornado warnings active right now. Both in Colorado. We do get a new SPC Outlook soon, actually. I didn't even realize. We get it in like 20 minutes, so just be aware of that. We'll see what they change and what they don't change soon enough as these storms continue to develop. Be on the lookout for that. I'll still be live by then. You can also see there is a little bit of a supercellular look to the storm just east of Greeley near Raymer, Colorado. So I would also pay attention to that. That does look like an interesting storm, so both of these storms look tornadic, so this might get a tornado warning too. I'm not sure exactly, because this doesn't look like it's on an outflow boundary, but this definitely is. Well, also, I don't know if that's the closest radar. Yeah, this I don't think is on a outflow boundary. Welcome, Bennett Weather. We are here, covering Colorado weather. So, are you from Bennett, Colorado? Because that isn't Colorado. Or is that just your name? I just wanted to ask. Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. More is down here, I think. So, there's not much going on there. But anyways, we're still watching this storm near Grover. It is on the outflow boundary. It might be a little bit ahead of it. I'm not sure exactly what that indicates, but I do think that could indicate some over-racing of that outflow boundary. That might indicate that there is some potential for the storm to outrun it. Yeah, thank you. I've been on here for the past 2 hours, and I've just been waiting to see more tornado warnings, as I'm interested in the weather, and I just want to help people out, so you can read the description if you want on more of that, but yep. Still heading southeast. Still a concerning storm. We do still have this observed tornado warning now via weather spotters. It is interesting because I'm looking at the rotation on this storm. It kind of is in the inflow, kind of not. It's really weird. It's in like the corridor, the tri-point there. This is an inflow right here near Daly. This is moving southeast. I know that's not inflow because this kinda is lining up with reflectivity right there. It's right near this hail spike, but not quite in it, so you can tell right there that that is actual rotation. And there is a tornado on the ground with this, so that's not surprising. We are also looking at the storm near St. Francis, which might also be on an outflow boundary. It's kind of hard to tell. This is where the outflow boundary is, so you can see a little bit on velocity, but it's not anything insane. You can see a little hook developing on the storm near St. Francis. This is right on the border between a tornado watch and a severe thunderstorm watch, so it's right on the edge there of being like some stronger tornado conditions. The Hackstun cell? Yeah, we already knew that was on the ground because it says it on the warning. Yeah, I mean, it gets lonely here sometimes, but I've definitely gotten the views I needed to, so. But looking at the storm, it is approaching towards Hackstun. It's not going to be directly impacting Hackstun. I don't know. It's going to be really hard to find a CC drop on this. This looks like a CC drop, but I bet it's not. It's so far away from radar right now. So, looking at this storm, we're seeing if there's a CC drop on this. It would be... Where would it be? Looking at the storm. It would be, like, right here. So, it's far away from Grover at the moment, but we're still watching it. This storm is on the ground, so... Okay, yeah. Just so you know, we can't use his feed. I mean, it's fun that you're mentioning it. I'm not like one of those YouTubers that it's like against people mentioning other people's names. I mean, I feel like that's a little inaccurate. I mean, maybe eventually I will, but like right now, since I'm still a small channel, it doesn't really matter. It might help me actually to get more chasers on here. I am trying to eventually get chasers on here, but it's not gonna work right now because I know I have to pay a lot of them. And I mean, I do have money, but it's like, you know, still in a situation where I can't pay that much, so we'll see what happens. I'll make friendships, hopefully. Might have touched down very briefly. Yeah, it might be a touch-and-go tornado from the looks of it. Seems like it could be a touch-and-go. It's really hard to tell in rotation, but it could be touch-and-go. That's what it's looking like right now. But yeah, near Hackstun. Still being your safe spot, but in the most interior room of a sturdy shelter. There still is a potentially tornado on the ground. Most likely it is, but we're still a little unsure if it remains on the ground. Yeah, I know. I'm still using Radar Omega because I heard something recently. I mean, I don't know if I want to say this out loud, but I don't know. Like, Weatherwise, like basically stole some of the products from Radar Omega. I don't know exactly what happened, but I heard it from someone, so I'm not obsessed with Weatherwise. The only reason why I would use Weatherwise is because of international radars, but I mean, I don't really know how to speak like those languages in Europe so much, unless if it's like Ireland or something, because I know they speak English there, and maybe Spain, but I don't think they have radars there. They still have a lot of chasers here, I just can't use them, so. I mean, I could look, let me look briefly how many chasers are here. Yeah, there's like 3. 3 chasers, so not many left. Yeah, I have a PC, so that's why I'm using this. I've never tried Radarscope. I'm only really done Radar Omega, but I could try Radarscope. I have the lowest subscription on Radar Omega, so I don't really have access to much, but you know, still trying out here. You can see some rotation on the storm near Hacks, and I'm pretty sure this is actual rotation. Let me see. Did they downgrade it to... No, they didn't downgrade it to radar indicator, so this definitely still is a tornado on the ground. Weather spotters are still confirming this tornado, so definitely still being your safe spot for this. This is moving towards the southeast. You can see this rotation is continuing, and I think that is rotation right there. It's a little hard to tell because we're still so far away, but that does look like real rotation, so I think we're starting to get into the visibility range where you might be able to see that there is actually rotation with the storm. Looking back at the storm near Grover, I've never seen that much on velocity with the storm. It's still on the outflow boundary, but it's a little bit behind it now. It's starting to grow a little bit behind it, so that will be concerning for the storm, not for us, of course, because we are not rooting for the storm. So this is near Grover. I'm not seeing any velocity on it, but we'll see. We'll see if it develops anything. We did just get a new mesoskill discussion. Tornado Watch 389. Well, for Tornado Watch 389. Severe hail and wind remain a concern with the more robust storms across the portions of the central high plains. Isolated tornado risk will also continue for at least a few more hours. So, it doesn't seem like as these storms continue, it doesn't seem like it's going to constantly be a tornado threat. Like, it seems like eventually these storms will form into a line or just be a hail threat, and they won't really have much of a tornado threat. So, that seems like eventually it might be the case, but not quite yet. We'll see what happens with these storms eventually. Alright, we should be getting our new SBC outlook. Oh. There's the moon. Just noticed that. The moon's right above the roof of the next house over. That's besides the point. So we should be getting a new SBC outlook soon. Let me see if we already have had it. Let me just see. Gotta check on this. Nah, we haven't had it already. But we have had quite a bit of severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings in this general area. And then going over here, we've had a lot of tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings in this general area. So I do imagine they might get rid of the 2% risk on the next outlook, but of course I'm not the SBC, so I don't know the exact thing that they're going to do. But we'll see what happens. I do think they're going to keep the 5% here. It would make the most sense. Maybe extend the 2% to the rest of the severe thunderstorm watch. Excuse me. Let me just check something also, because we do still have those. We did just have those earthquakes still. So let me just see what we are seeing with the tsunami warnings. Okay, so we do see a tsunami advisory in Puerto Rico, but that's about it. Puerto Rico guy when you need him. So this still is a tornado on the ground per Storm Chasers, it looks like. It's right here. I mean, you can see the rotation pretty well now. Not insanely well, it's not quite there yet, but this is near US Highway 6, and it's along the county lines of, let me see, Logan and Phillips counties. So it's straddling the border between Logan and Phillips counties, it seems like. As it continues to move southeast, or more like south-southeast. It's more southeast. It's like right on the border there. This will make it directly to Ray. I don't think it's gonna make it all the way there as like a continuous tornado, but we'll see what happens with it. We'll see if it'll lose all of that cape value and just go away, or if it will continue all the way then. I do think it would continue all the way then, but mostly as a hailstorm. We'll see if it continues as a tornadic storm. Yeah, the storm near Grover, looking like more of a hailstorm now, from what it looks like. Continuously looking more haily. I don't think this is just lime size, but I know some of these radars are kind of weird because they're on the mountains and just like overdo the reflectivity sometimes. I've seen it before, so does seem like there's a lot of hail in it though. There's also this storm near Raymer and Weldona that also has a lot of hail in it. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a severe thunderstorm warning on that. No rotation on it though. Oh, wow. Okay, we have another tornado warning. This is down here near Otis and Yuma. Yeah, this is another tornado warning. It also is a very big hailstorm. It has tennis ball size hail at the moment. It's not really hooking right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if this produces a tornado eventually. I mean, that's why the tornado warned it. You can see maybe a bit of rotation just northeast of Anton. So we'll see what happens with it as it approaches towards the I-70 corridor. And the, what corridor is this? Is this US 24? What even is this? US 36. US 36. So we'll eventually reach that US 36 area. Yeah, guys, we've been live for 2 hours and 19 minutes at this point. Make sure to drop a like if you can. So make sure to comment if you have any questions about your area. See if any developments occur. Man, this hail. This is some intense hail. Look how widespread it is, too. It's all over the Grover area, so this definitely is becoming more of a hailstorm. I don't know if it's going to remain tornadic a little bit. It looks less tornadic with every scan. It looks more like a hailstorm. So we'll see if it does gain those tornadic characteristics again. But right now, we're not really seeing much tornadic activity with it. My elbow's been on the desk like the entire day at this point. We do also have a storm developing south of Fort Morgan now. Right here. So south of Fort Morgan. See another storm here. This is also developing southeast of Wiggins. Wiggins. Always gets me. Not latching onto the outflow boundary, so no tornado threat with it yet. But maybe if it could, then we would see a tornado threat. I'm unsure. But it's what we're currently seeing in that region. Let's check something. Let me get this tornado in Louisiana. Okay, I guess that was yesterday. There was a tornado warning in Louisiana yesterday, and we got a tornado from it. Did not expect that, but okay. Of course, all the tornadoes from before. Okay, so this no longer is on the ground because we haven't probably gotten a lot of reports from weather spotters anymore, especially since this is now just radar indicated. So this is a radar indicated tornado warning at this point. No more tornado on the ground, but it could redevelop, so that's why the tornado warning is still in effect. And of course, we still have golf ball size hail with this. The hail risk has decreased a little bit, but we're still watching the storm. We'll still see if it develops again, redevelops that hail core and its tornado core. We also do still have this tornado warning down here, but not as active. So 3 tornado warnings active, none of them observed. I mean, I guess I could check if there's any cameras within that further south tornado warning near Akron. Let me see. There's one over here. Wait, it might be a picture camera. Yeah, it is. Can't really see much. Be up here. Is a northbound thing. Is it looking north? There's not really much cameras on that southern tornado warning. Jeez, there's like no cameras in this area. Like, there's so many cameras in Colorado, except for these areas where the tornadoes are happening, so. Nothing to see there. New SBC Outlook should be out, so let's look at it. There it is. And let me see if it's... Yeah, it doesn't appear for a little bit, so just give it a second. It's still an enhanced risk, so... Nothing new, it seems. Let me just see if they kept the slate. They still kept the slate. No. I think this is the same Outlook thing. It's just not appearing yet. Okay. So I gotta wait. Did it already upload it? No. Never mind. We do have this new severe thunderstorm warning for Wheatland, Wyoming. This storm has come all the way from Laramie to meet Wheatland, Wyoming, so... Or Rock River, rather. Y-O Ranch, or Y-Zero Ranch. I've never heard of that in my life before, but okay. So that area needs to be aware that there's some tornadic activity. No, not tornadic activity. Severe activity heading towards them. Severe thunderstorm activity. Let's see if we can get the SBC Outlook now. This still isn't a... Try that logo. Is this it? No. Just give it a second. It takes like 5 minutes for it to actually load. So I'll just give it a second. Very big hailstorm over here on the southern tornado warning. Tennis ball size hail, of course, with it. Likely more to come. Definitely a big storm. For sure. Now, let me see if I can get the new SBC outlook now. There it is. So here's a new update. You can see there's still a slight risk for Chicago in that region and a little bit of Wisconsin and Indiana, but also they completely kind of died down, the slight risk. It still exists in Utah and Nevada, but in very low populated areas. So the main slight risk is over here in Denver, Colorado Springs, Aurora, those areas. And down into New Mexico and Texas. Looking at our tornado risk, it is very small now. It just encompasses Sterling and Fort Morgan, Colorado, but it's still at 5%. And then 2% over here. You can still see there's still a 2% for Chicago. There's also a little bit of a wind risk now. We are expecting a 30 sig 1, so that's a new risk. And also a little bit of a sig 1 over here in Utah, Nevada. And then over here where the main hail risk is, but now it's 30%. So, it's generally what we're looking at here. I mean, we also do have the risk tomorrow. That's the new outlook. We do have a destructive storm now with a storm near Grover. So, yes, this does have baseball-sized hail with it now. We were kind of expecting that upgrade, but you can see it here. It's a new storm with a baseball-sized hail. And this tornado warning is probably going to get expired because there is a tornado possible tag actually on it. So we'll see what happens with it. It is kind of on the alpha boundary. And it's looking a bit more tornadic. So we'll watch it. We'll see if it produces anything. But very small 5% risk now. They did extend the 2% I think a little. But the 5% no longer encompasses Cheyenne. Looking at 70-mile-per-hour winds now in southwestern Nebraska towards Imperial and Moneta. So that's new. We still have this tornado risk over here. I'm not really seeing much with it, but it still could develop something. We still have this tiny little storm over here near Morris, but not too much of a tornado threat, it looks like. This doesn't even include Madison. I don't know why Madison was included in that, but whatever. But yeah, guys, I think I'm going to end it here just because it's been 2.5 hours, and we've seen a little bit. We've seen one tornado, and I mean, there's still 3 tornado warnings active, but it's not anything too crazy. If it does get crazy again, like with the winds or anything like that, if there's 80-mile-per-hour winds, there is baseball-sized hail, but it does look like it's in a very unpopulated area. It does include Grover, but I don't think it's really impacting Grover anymore. It's impacting Grover a tiny bit, but that's about it. Tornado warning was just deactivated for that. So I do think I'm going to go here. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please just subscribe, turn on notifications. If you don't know what the notifications look like, it's the bell icon next to the subscribe button. Also make sure to like this video or live stream. I don't care if you dislike. If you really didn't like this video, fine, dislike. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. And it's always nicer to know somebody's with you there. Eventually, you'll catch up to them on the Moyes Data on the Road freeway. Goodbye, guys.